What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Groot. People do say he is somewhat of a difficult character to play, but with some practice and learning how to use his kit, you can easily master him. So first I'm going to show you guys my settings that I do play for Groot. So the first part of Groot's kit is obviously his Vine Strike, which is his R2 or his RT ability. It does have a really good range. I believe it's up to 23 meters is his range. And it does 70 per hit. So obviously this is his main part of his kit, and it's really good, especially since with his recent buff where they extended his, because I believe before it was like 20 and below, but with the extra 3 or 4 meters it really does add a lot. But yeah, 70 per hit. The second part of his kit, which is his L2, is going to be his spare bomb. On impact it does 50 damage, and then he drops 6, I don't know if you guys saw that, he drops 6 of these balls that go afterwards. Those do an extra 10 damage per, so if there's people around, each of those balls, if they hit someone, it does an extra 10 damage to them. So the next part and the most important part of Groot's kit is his small walls. They are just the main small ones. These are the ones that do damage, so these are the main ones you're going to want to be placing most of the time. So obviously if you do damage to it, the vine also hits it. I believe it does another 5 to 10 damage on hitting somebody. So that's really how you're going to get a lot of value from Groot, is obviously combining his walls. And it just literally could shred people. It, especially obviously combining his spear bomb, something like that. It's really insane how much damage his walls do, but they're really good. They don't have a lot of health. So the Thornlash walls, which are the basic ones, they have 250 HP each. So about basically a regular squishy or a regular character. So they can be taken down very easily depending on what characters you play, but like I said, it's still the best part of his kit just because how much damage you could do. And then so the other wall that he has here is the Iron Wood wall. It doesn't do any damage. It's kind of just like a main defense. What the this guy's really texting me right now. Pete Buns in the corner. So the Iron Wall has 700 health. I use it more as a protection than trying to block people off. You could kind of use it as a both. I kind of lean towards using it more as a protection. So obviously if I'm, really taking some damage, I'll place it like really close in front of me. So if I'm getting chased, I'll kind of do something like that, hide behind it, let the healers heal me, and then obviously you can retrieve it. The cool thing about this wall is that when you place it down and you do damage, it gives you bonus health. And I believe it goes up to 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. 1,050, I believe, is how much you go. You just have to stay in the radius of it. It does have a radius. I believe it's about 20 meters as well. But you do get that extra, is that 350 HP you get as bonus. So as long as it's down and you're doing damage next to it, it gives you bonus health. Now that used to be the strategy when he first came out, is to just place the wall and then start fighting. Obviously that's not the case anymore, but it is really good. I still, like I said, you could use it for more of an attacking strategy or just your defense, but and then obviously the best and main part of his kit is his ultimate. So on impact for his ult, it does 70. So it takes 70%, and then after that, every like half a second, it does 20 damage. So, and it only lasts for about 5 to 6 seconds. The ult lasts in total, but this is one of the best ults in the game, especially combining it with one of his walls, because the amount of CC that the wall and Groot's ultimate does is actually insane. You could pull people from really, really far. Plus with the ball, he has one of the strongest ults in the game. You could literally carry a game with using just Groot. You don't even need DPS players on your team. Groot could hard carry and do a lot of damage. So the main thing you're going to want to be doing when you're playing Groot is basically blocking off the healers and the DPSs from the tanks. So obviously if you're playing against like a mag or like a strange, any one of those tanks, so say we got like a mag here, the main thing you're going to want to be doing is placing your walls like that so that his healers, because obviously the healers aren't going to be in front of him, he's going to be the main guy frontlining, they're obviously going to be blocked off and they can't heal him. So, and healers as it is don't do enough damage, so you're basically going to want to be trying to kidnap and snatch the tanks so that they don't get healed. And then once you kill the tanks, then you can start pushing up. But as your main job as Groot is to just be blocking off the healers and the DPSs from healing their tank. So obviously there's a couple different ways of doing this. Obviously you could go like this. Like I said, in some situations I like to double because obviously the area is pretty big. So usually when I have a tank like super low, probably anywhere from like 300 to 400, and they're really playing back, so something like this, instead of using this, his smaller wall, what I like to do is place ironwood wall, and basically this guarantees the kill. It's a lot bigger, so it's harder for them to get away, and the damage, the DPSs and healers can't really heal them as fast or destroy my wall as fast. This is kind of like what I usually do if a tank's full HP, because this is how you're doing a lot of your damage. Then obviously if they take it away, then you can kind of finish them up with the ironwood wall, so that you guarantee the kill and they can't destroy the walls. Because obviously with the smaller walls, 250 HP, I mean, I guess you can do that, and then obviously if they're 400 HP, it's gonna kill them right away, but it's just guaranteed the kill. I like to do the ironwood wall. So a lot of the crazy stuff you could do with Groot is obviously you can angle his walls, which is really good. Obviously doing stuff like this when they're coming in from like a walkway, it's really, really good, because obviously if people come under it, they're just gonna get hit. But there's so many different ways that you could play Groot if you're trying to get high ground. Obviously you could do something like this. It's not really the best because obviously they're just gonna destroy the bottom of it, but it's still really nice to like get up on places if you're trying to just get up, get the high ground basically. And then so you could also build multiple walls, something like that, at the same time. So all you got to do is just make sure you have your walled out, hold R2 or RT if you're on Xbox, and you could kind of just build like a wall, like a double wall there, and then you could even build up if you want to as well, something like that. You can only do 2 at a time. I've honestly felt like I've done 3 at a time at one point, but I think, yeah, you could only do 2. But this is really good as well for trying to, obviously if there's like a mag and a strange here, you could kind of do something like that, kind of trap both of them here without placing, you know, because some people, it's kind of hard for some people to, obviously there's a little bit of a delay trying to place 2 walls right here. So your best strategy at trying to block 2 tanks off is just hold R2, and then you could just build a big main wall basically. It's kind of like your iron wall here. It's basically what you're doing, is just building 2 of them. Now the main thing I like to do with his ultimate is obviously to make sure the healers don't have an ult, because the only time I wouldn't really ult is if I know Cloak has ult, like a Luna or even an Invisible Woman or a Mantis. I'm fine ulting in, because you have potential to kill them during their ult. So if you know Cloak has an ult, I wouldn't ult, because unfortunately she's just gonna Cloak all out and you have to go for one or the other. So the ult's not going anywhere. See, but with like an Invis or a Luna, they're gonna stay in your tree area, they're gonna stay near the wall, so you're gonna do a lot more damage. But the Cloak, if a Cloak ults, she's getting away from your wall and she's healing her team at the same time, so there's just no point in ulting with a Cloak. But one of the main things I like doing with Groot is to just try getting high ground when I'm about to ult. When you're about to ult with Groot, you want to get the high ground, because that's how you're going to get a lot of the characters kind of together, and so you won't miss on an ult. You won't grab one person. If you're like really up, that it kind of throws his orb instead of staying flat, because if you're gonna have to kind of aim up, it's just easier to just get the high ground and just kind of jump like that from an angle. So something like that is what you're gonna want to do. Obviously, when you do jump off, just be careful, because I feel like a lot, if you're playing against some smart people, they're gonna kind of know what you're gonna do. But you could do something like this, place your walls, and just easy kill like that. Obviously, so something like that is what you're gonna want to do. So when you do ult, obviously you could even place a wall before. If you want to do 2 walls like this, obviously you're only gonna suck up one guy, but if they're all together like that, that's also a really good way of killing multiple people. My go-to kind of like getting ready to ult is I usually always have a wall placed like that, and then obviously I'll keep fighting, something like this, and then I'll build a wall like this, shoot it from that, and then I'll get them all together. Because when you ult on your own wall, the ticking it does, because every 0.5 seconds, every half a second, it's gonna do damage. So when you're comboing that, your wall is also gonna hit them while it does damage at the same time. So you're gonna basically triple your damage from what you're doing. Because if you're just doing like this, you're double damaging. Like, you may still kill them, but if you're trying to maximize as much damage as possible onto an entire team, you're gonna want to stick it on the wall there, and it just instantly shreds anybody. So another thing I like doing with Groot is melee canceling with him, which kind of sounds crazy, but playing with someone like super close like this, you can really maximize his value if you're playing super close to somebody instead of just doing this. So obviously that still does a lot of damage, but you could, doing the melee cancel with him, just... Groot does a lot of damage, but if you have a really good team around you, they elevate Groot's potential. They make him like super better. Like obviously with your ult, you could kind of combine his ult with other people's ult. You could, you know, you could obviously ult. Spider-Man could ult in that vicinity if it doesn't kill everybody. He also does really good with a Bucky. So obviously you grab, you know, a bunch of them together, and then Bucky could just ult that one area since you kind of pulled them all together. So Bucky could kind of ult there, and then basically team wipe with a Groot and a Bucky. If you're trying to win a lot of your games with Groot and you want to get better with him, try to have a teammate kind of help you out. Obviously a Groot could solo ult an entire team if you just use him right, but if you're in those really good Celestial Eternity lobbies, you're obviously going to need help. You're going to play smarter players, so try having like a Bucky or Namor. And Namor's really good with him as well. Something that does a lot of AoE damage. You just kind of have to call out with your team, you know, just say, hey, I'm about to ult, and then have Bucky, Namor, or whoever does AoE damage to kind of wipe out a team. And so those are really all the positive things I've got to say about Groot as a character, but he does have some really interesting cons to him. Obviously I feel like he's pretty easy to counter. Obviously his character model is pretty big, so even though he does have 850 HP, he still gets shredded, especially if you're solo tanking as a Groot. You're gonna probably get destroyed if they start switching on you. So solo tanking as a Groot might work. Like if you're playing domination, they'll probably work the first round, but after that you're gonna have to probably swap off to like a mag or a strange, someone who takes damage a little more easier. So even though Groot is a really good character and doesn't really have much downside, his counters that he has are, you know, what basically stops him from being like an S tier plus tank. Obviously, the first counter to him is Wolverine. Even though Wolverine does get banned pretty often, if you are planning on playing Groot, obviously I would ban Wolverine 100% of the time if you're playing Groot. Wolverine is going to be like your #1 op. He'll destroy you no matter what. Wolverine does an insane amount of damage. Now, with Wolverine being his main counter, Groot doesn't have a lot of movement to begin with, so when there is a Wolverine and you forget to ban him, I would insta-swap out of Groot immediately because no mobility, and he could just shred Groot. Groot would be S tier if Wolverine wasn't in the game. Like, he would easily be S tier. You could make him S tier if you ban Wolverine as well. Like, no movement. He's not going to fly away. He can't bubble. Obviously, he could probably place his walls down, but it's not going to do you any good. I mean, you're still going to get shredded. Now, the other main counter to Groot is going to be a Squirrel Girl. She just literally destroys his walls in 2 seconds. 2 shots from, actually 3 shots destroys Groot wall, so obviously she could just be chilling in the back, kind of like how this Groot is trying to chase me right now. 3 shots and then his wall's just done. And obviously he has no movement either, so he's just gonna get destroyed. So if they are playing a Squirrel Girl, make sure to consider that because she does fry his walls. That's probably like the one main thing. Another main counter to Groot is gonna be Punisher, obviously, because he could just spray through his walls. Oh my god. So like obviously if they have like a Groot and you know he's playing pretty far, if he just places walls down, especially with this turret, it's just gonna shred through it. Just shred through his walls. Like with the Punisher on the other team, it makes Groot basically unplayable. Because just how fast he shreds through his walls. Judge, jury, Punisher is, besides Wolverine, is probably his second hardest counter. Squirrel Girl, she can obviously counter him, but at the same time, Punisher, you literally could just play Punisher to just shoot the walls, like, and then it'll make him useless. Because with Groot's, obviously when you place Groot walls, he has a cooldown to him, so when he's out of cooldowns and him having no mobility, he's just gonna get shredded. So Punisher could just shoot all the walls down, he'll have no movement, can't block anything, and then he's just useless. So the main team ups I would recommend playing with Groot is, you can solo tank with him, but I would recommend having like a Strange or a Mag to play with the Groot, just so he's not taking the full front line, because he has so little protection of himself. So when he gets pretty low, this is going to be your only protection that you have. And if they, like I said, have a Punisher or a Squirrel Girl, the wall's just going to get destroyed and then you're just going to die. So you need to make sure you have at least a Mag. If the enemy team is that bad, then yeah, you could solo tank, but I would recommend at least getting another tank. Obviously with his new team up with Mantis, he has a secondary wall here, which I forgot to explain, but it does healing. Doesn't have that much HP at all, like that doesn't really give you any HP, but it's still really good. So like obviously it is nice to have like a Mantis and a Loki. The new team up does really put Groot in like an S tier this season if Wolverine is banned. So although this season Mantis does have the team up with Groot and Loki, she really still isn't like an S tier healer, so you won't really see Mantis that much. But if you are running like a triple support, you know, 2 tanks 1 DPS type of lineup, then this team up and Groot himself is just going to be amazing to play. But you know, obviously with the healing that it does, you could do, like, if you're getting backed up, do something like this. It could heal you 20, gives you 20 heals per second. It doesn't do any damage, doesn't do anything crazy like that. All it does is just give you and your teammates health. So I believe, watch, basically making Groot a healer. So if you are in like a fight or something, you could just place the wall down, place that there, and then kind of keep your team alive as well. He's basically like a secondary healer at this point, which is kind of crazy. The wall does get destroyed super easily. I don't even know how much health it has exactly, but with Mantis not being really played in the meta because she's not that great of a healer, it's kind of hard to play this team up. But if you do have like a Mantis main and you obviously play Loki and maybe like a Cloak or a Luna, and then obviously with the Groot, maybe a Mag in there as well, and then a really good hard carry DPS, that lineup could really win you a lot of games. And with that, I think we've covered everything If you guys have any questions, anything else you guys want to talk about in the comments, let me know down below. I do answer all comments, so if you got something, maybe another question you guys, or anything else that I'm missing with Groot, just let me know down in the comments below. If you do like these guide videos, let me know down in the comments as well. I do want to make like a Venom and a Emma Frost guide pretty soon, but we'll see. I want to see your guys' feedback and what you guys think of this one. I am really close to getting him Lord. Obviously, you could see I have him Centurion with the KO banner, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible for you guys. I know you guys liked my Human Torch guides, so. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, sub if you guys are new, and I'll catch you in the next one.